Hello and welcome to my WWE Hell in a Cell 2018 review. There is some WWE 2K18 footage on the screen, not sure what, haven't recorded it yet as I record this. I have literally just turned off the WWE network and thought I would just crack straight on with recording this. So, let us begin at the beginning with the kickoff show, where the New Day and Rusev Day were done the extreme disservice of being demoted. They weren't pre-announced for the kickoff show. They were pre-announced as if they were part of the main card, and then during the kickoff show, I think is the first time we had it mentioned to us, they would be on the kickoff show, so they just got a last minute demotion. They put on a really good match, actually. I enjoyed. Can I just preface this by saying, for the most part, I really enjoyed this pay-per-view. I think that's 2 in a row. I think that's 2 pretty damn good pay-per-views in a row, at least. I can't remember what was immediately before SummerSlam. But I've enjoyed 2 WWE pay-per-views, at least, in a row. Yeah, New Day and Rusev Day put on a good tag team match, especially considering the limited time they were given on the kickoff show. I predicted the New Day to win the game in the match simulations that I did on Saturday. Predicted Rusev Day to win, and New Day won, so that's 1-0 to me. I like to compete, by the way, guys, on my predictions against the game, so I see who the game predicts on the, on the old simulations, and then I try and get more right than the game did, and I am 1-0 up. 1-0 to the champion. Okay, let's not spend any more time on that. Let's get on to the main card. I could rant and rave for a long time about how the New Day, and especially Rusev, do not deserve to be on the kickoff show. But you already know that. Let's move on. Match number 1 on the main card. They kicked it off with one of the Hell in a Cell matches. What a choice it was to kick off. They always try and kick off hot. They always try and start the show with a hot match. Randy Orton, Jeff Hardy was always going to be a good match, and it was good. It was brutal. Like the screwdriver spot. Ugh. I don't cringe at a lot of stuff, especially not in wrestling, where whether we like the word or not, we all know it's fake. Like, we all know it's scripted. We all know they both know what's coming. I have no idea how Randy Orton did all that to Jeff Hardy's ear and didn't rip it. No idea. No idea. I know people with stretches like that who have just caught it and it's gone and they've ended up with 2 dangly bits of ear for the rest of their life. I do not know how Randy Orton did not rip Jeff Hardy's earlobe in that spot. The rest of the match was awesome. It was an unnecessary risk, but at least it didn't come off the top of the cell. Like, off the actual top. I mean, he was still pretty much as high, wasn't he? But whatever. He was dangling down. He was quite a bit lower, actually. That's the illusion, isn't it? But Jeff Hardy went for a splash onto Orton on a table. Just the way that it was all set up. I mean, I tweeted out miss. Like, before he'd even finished climbing the ladder, when he put Orton on the table, I tweeted miss. Like, he was going to miss. I could just tell by the way he'd set up the whole device. But I'm sure you all could as well. I'm not some sort of genius. However, hope he's okay. Hope Jeff Hardy landed that okay. He either sold it like a trooper or was hurt. Because Randy Orton only really moved his leg. So there is a possibility that when he went for that pin, Jeff was legit hurt. I doubt they'd have done that in this day and age. But there is also a chance that Jeff Hardy said to Orton at the start of the match, look, if this spot goes wrong, still pin me. You know, like, or just pin me and end it. That might not have even been the planned finish. It might have been. Who knows? You don't know what's going on in the world of wrestling. The important thing is I predicted Orton to win, and he did. Well, the important thing is Jeff Hardy's health, let's be honest. But the important thing about how the match went, how the actual kayfabe element of the match went, is that Orton won and I was right. The game picked Jeff Hardy and was wrong again. And by this point in the pay-per-view, I already knew I had beaten the game because there was only 3 matches that we disagreed on, and I had got both of them right. Two of them right. The 2 matches were 2 of the 3, and I'd got both of them right. The game could not catch me. So happy days. Anyway, the 3rd match of the entire night, the 2nd match of the main card, was the final match that me and the game disagreed on. So we got it all out of the way nice and early. Becky Lynch versus Charlotte. This was a really good match. Really good match. This is a common theme throughout the night. The show was. It was a pretty good show full of pretty good matches. I predicted Charlotte to win. The game predicted Becky, and Becky won in a really surprising fashion. Not only because she actually won, and I'm not sure a lot of people were predicting that, but also because it was... I'll be honest, I need to rewatch the end of that match because I kind of blinked and missed kind of what exactly happened. There's a few people using stunner puns on Twitter. I assume she caught her with some variant of a stunner into a roll-up type combination thing. Not sure. I didn't actually see the ending crystal clear. I think I looked down at my phone. I think I tweeted something and looked up and she had her pinned. And then they counted 3 and I was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Because it just didn't feel like the end of the match was coming or anything. It didn't feel like they built to a crescendo. It was a genuine surprise. But yeah, really good match. I was 2 for 3, 2-1 up against the game. It's okay. I don't need to worry about the score against the game, really, because I win now. We agreed on the other remaining matches. Yeah, it was a good match. It was a good match. Next up was possibly match of the night. It was a really good tag team match. Drew and Dolph versus Dean and Seth. I confused myself then because I wasn't reading the match list. I was reading my prediction next to the games, and I was like, why have I written Drew and Dolph twice? But never mind. It's nearly 4 o'clock in the morning. You'll have to forgive me if I make some slight errors like that. So, Drew and Dolph versus Seth and Dean. The game predicted Drew and Dolph. I predicted Drew and Dolph. I think I predicted every single title to stay where it was. So, go figure. I predicted that. I think I did mention in the predictions video that was unlikely to happen. So I was likely to be wrong about something. But I still went with my gut on all the matches. Just having a look through, actually. Yeah, I did pick a quite good mix of faces and heels. Although it was a bit face heavy in my predictions. So maybe that's where I lost out a little bit. Anyway, Drew and Dolph won the match. Really good match. The finish was awesome. Can I just say, everyone knows that superplex into Falcon Arrow spot. And it was just like, out of nowhere, Drew McIntyre is in the ring and hits a Claymore kick on Seth. And Dolph essentially falls on him. They're the legal men. And Dolph gets the pin. And I thought that was so well executed. Like, if the timing had been slightly off, if Drew wasn't the absolute man that he is, because I love Drew, in case you didn't get that from TWF episode 16, I love Drew. I think he's amazing. And if Drew wasn't the man that he was, Seth would have had to awkwardly pause before trying to do the Falcon Arrow, and that spot would have all gone to pot. But Drew was there, bang on cue, bang in the face, 1, 2, 3, they're still the champions. Beautiful match. Up next, it was the WWE Championship match, which they're allergic to putting in anywhere near the end of the card, it would seem, these days. AJ Styles, Samoa Joe. This was the only match debatably as good as the tag match. This one's open for debate. I personally enjoyed the tag match a touch more, but that is no negative comment on this match. I really enjoyed this match. Almost as much as I don't enjoy Joe's hair. I was reliably informed on Twitter because I was live tweeting this. It's well worth giving me a follow. The link's in the description, by the way, because every pay-per-view I do try and stay up and, you know, give my thoughts as it's happening. But, yeah, I was reliably informed on Twitter that Joe's doing a movie. So maybe that's why he's growing his hair out for the role, but I think it looks ridiculous. Anyway, AJ won. I predicted AJ to win. The game predicted AJ to win. But there was a lot of controversy. By the referee's call, we were both right. Me and the game were correct. However, it was shown without a shadow of a doubt, just to keep the feud continuing, that AJ tapped. Before the 3 was counted as well. The important thing there is it wasn't at the same time and it should have been a draw. It was he tapped before the 3, which means Joe should be champion. As opposed to if it was at the same time, it'd be like, well, then it was a draw and he still retains the title, so it doesn't matter. Right, now, here's my issue. Later in the show, let's skip ahead a little bit, or quite a bit, towards near the end of the show. Joe confronts Paige and the referee gets chewed off by Paige and runs away, scared, and rightfully so. Paige isn't scared, however, she just stands right up to Joe, which, fair play to her. Even knowing that he's acting, he's still a pretty scary man, so fair play to you, Paige. But Joe comes barging in and he demands a rematch, and Paige says, you can have it. Oh, let's do it at Super Showdown. Like that match wasn't already announced. That isn't the main bugbear that I have with that announcement. The main bugbear is it's going to be a no DQ match. Now, they seem to be missing a trick here, and the trick is called logic. AJ Styles got disqualified at SummerSlam, and that is the reason why Samoa Joe didn't win the title. Not because AJ beat him, but because of Champion's Advantage. So therefore, this match needed to be no disqualification, be it in a cell or not. It needed to be no disqualification. Absolutely, because that is the only thing that makes sense following on from the champion retaining via disqualification. Then, this finish could still have happened. Bear in mind, it would not have affected the actual booking plans going forward whatsoever to make this match no disqualification or to put it in the cell. They could still have done this finish. Absolutely, could have done basically the same match just with a few weapon shots or with the cell around them. Who knows, but what they would have done differently, but they could have done the same finish. Then, this upcoming match should have a different stipulation that prevents this match result from happening again. Because no disqualification, as I just said, doesn't stop this match result. The same exact finish could have been done in a no DQ match. Easily. Easily. The only match to take forward from here, I would say, would be a submission match. Because Joe's gripe is, wait, AJ tapped. AJ tapped out to my submission before he pinned me. The referee didn't see it because he was too busy counting a pin. So I want a match where there's no pins. I want a match where you just have to make your opponent tap out. Because that would be the fair way to decide, would I have won that? You know, like, I mean, everyone knows he would have won it because they saw it on the video. But this is the problem, is you need that logical progression through a story, not just, oh well, this is the third time you fought Nelson, now it can be personal enough for no DQ. He's been calling out his wife and kids. It's personal enough for no DQ, even for Hell in a Cell already. What? I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get why they insist on booking AJ Styles feuds terribly. Like, the Kevin Owens one, terrible. It was just all a vehicle to get to Owens and Shane. The Shinsuke feud, the booking, terrible. This feud, the booking, okay actually, but highly illogical. It's not terrible, but it does not make sense in terms of what matches they're being put into and why. That doesn't make any sense. The stuff with Joe Reed and the fairy tale is magnificent. I love it. I'm aware it's a heavily scripted promo, but Joe can deliver them. Joe can deliver anything, whether it's an improvised monologue for half an hour and keep everyone captivated, or whether it's a scripted promo that only lasts 30 seconds. He will make it amazing because Joe is amazing. But the actual booking makes no sense. So yeah, that's really bugged me because it's just not difficult to get that right. But ranting aside, let's move on to the next match, which was the mixed tag team match. The Danielsons versus the Mizzenins. Daniel Bryan and Brie Bella against The Miz and Maurice. This match was probably the worst on the card, but that doesn't mean it was terrible. It was okay. It was acceptable. It was an okay match. It was good in parts. The psychology. You can tell I'm tired. I can't even say words. The psychology and the storytelling were bang on point. The whole story with Maurice not wanting to fight Brie Bella at all, and also the story with Miz only wanting to fight Bryan if he had him distracted. Miz and Maurice came off perfectly for how they're supposed to. I did not see this coming. I predicted Daniel Bryan and Brie to win, and I said I don't see how you keep the feud going with the Miz's winning, and I still kind of stand by that. I know Maurice beat Brie, so it doesn't end the issue between Bryan and Miz, but it's starting to be a little bit like, why would Miz agree to fight Bryan again? Like, why? He's a heel. Why would he just be like, yeah, sure, have another shot. I'm a fighting kind of guy. I feel like giving you a third chance. I just don't get it. I don't. Again, illogical booking. Excuse me while I do a big yawn. As I've just said, it is 4 AM when I'm recording this. Excuse me. I didn't do a prediction simulation video of this match because, as far as I'm aware, I didn't really do a lot of research into it, but as far as I'm aware, there's not a game with all 4 of these people in it, and you can do mixed tags. I don't know. I might be wrong. I didn't really research it, but just from memory, I couldn't think of any. Like, because I'm pretty sure mixed tags have been out of the games for quite a while. Maybe one of the early games with Bryan in, but he'd be almost unrecognisable from current day Daniel Bryan anyway, so I'm not too worried about that. I just stuck to what you can do on 2K18 for this set of simulations. Speaking of which, next match features someone who's not on 2K18 but is very much on 2K19. Ronda Rousey defending the Raw Women's Championship against Alexa Bliss. I tweeted out at some point in this match, feel free to tweet me if at any point you feel like Alexa is actually going to win this match. I got no tweets. I don't know if that's because no one saw the tweet, or I don't know if that's because no one ever believed it. I feel like it's a bit of both. Maybe they didn't tweet me because they didn't see that specific tweet. But at the same time, not once did anyone believe Alexa Bliss was going to win that match. And do you know what? It wasn't even a bad match. It was a much better match than the SummerSlam one because it was believable heat on Alexa. It wasn't like, oh my god, how is she even like doing any damage whatsoever? It was a believable story. I liked it. I really did like the match. However, there was no drama in it because, do you know what? I don't even remember if Alexa Bliss went for a pin. Possibly. She didn't get a finisher though. That I recall. I'm hoping I'm not wrong on that. I was just watching the show, and I did watch all the way through the show. But from memory, she didn't hit a finisher, and I think a big part of that was just because they knew no one was going to believe that it was going to end with Alexa winning anyway. So, what can you do, eh? What can you do with that situation? You can do as good a match as you can, which is what those girls went out and did. I am endlessly impressed with Ronda Rousey. I do think it was too early to put the title on her. However, I'm willing to see how it plays out just because of how well she's done with such limited experience. Alexa Bliss is one of the best damn heels on the roster, and the fact that you disagree and think that she's a bad wrestler and think that she's not worthy of carrying the Women's Championship kind of proves the point, because she has said in interviews, look, I'm not here to do the flash stuff that impresses the fans. I'm here to make the fans cheer the other person. And I fully respect that. That is a very old school mentality. And I think she's right. Anyway, I predicted Ronda to win, as did everyone else on the planet. Congratulations to me. I am currently, by the way, in case you've not been keeping score, 5 out of 7 on this pay-per-view so far, including the pre-show. 7 matches so far that we've discussed. I've got 5 of them right. Pretty pleased with myself on that. I was pretty confident going into this that I'd get a pretty high score. But yeah, I'm pretty pleased. Now, the main event. I'm not going to spend too long on this. No, I'm really not. The Dolph and Seth spot was just unnecessarily risking the health of your wrestlers, because that interference added nothing to the match, because none of the 4 actually ended up in the cell. Or even distracted the men in the cell, because they just had the world's longest nap time. Braun and Roman just lay in the ring for like 10 minutes, just selling. Braun selling a spear through a table, and Roman selling the fact that he'd hit a spear and Braun had kicked out. Ridiculous. Utterly ridiculous. I don't know what happened to Dean and Drew on top of the cell as well. They just gave up fighting and had nap time as well, while Dolph and Seth set themselves up very carefully, and I don't blame them for that. But have other stuff going on. Like, I know you want the main bulk of the camera work to be on that, but do a split cam like you do with replays. Or just occasionally cut to a bit of action in the ring, or have a camera positioned where it can see the in-ring action beyond Seth and Dolph, who are standing on the side of the cell. You know, have a camera, an arm set up above the announce table for that shot. I don't know. There's lots of ways around it. I'm not a production guy. The WWE have some of the best production people in the world. I'm saying it was a problem. It's not up to me to come up with a solution. It's up to them, and it should have been done so much better than just having people lying around everywhere. But then, business picked up, and all of a sudden, now he's not holding the belt, everyone's happy to see Brock again. Magic. I did say part of the problem with Brock was the fact that he was champion, and champion for so long. Brock was doing the Andre the Giant role. He was an attraction, he was nigh on untouchable, and he only showed up every so often. And people ate it up with Andre, and people ate it up with Brock up until the point where you gave him a 500-day world title reign and you never got to see the title defended. That was the problem, and now that he's not got the title, he's already got a bit of that aura back around him. He's also getting his UFC beard back, in case you didn't notice, and he's also cutting weight so damn fast. Did you see his face? That was a completely different man than was at SummerSlam a month ago, tops. That was a completely different man. It was crazy. Like, he had the top on, so we couldn't really see how much weight he cut, like, up about him. But judging by his face and his jowls, or lack thereof, my God, that man knows how to work out when he's motivated and wants to be in shape. Just shows how little he really cares about being in WWE. I know everyone popped for him, but seriously, if you analyse it, the fact that he cut so much weight since SummerSlam, because he's now going back to UFC, just shows how little he cares about being in WWE. He let himself get fat because he just did not care. And now that he's got something to care about, he's lost the weight. It was pretty cool. Those table shots looked a bit stiff, especially when he was using the bit of table that had a metal plate folded under it. Like the arm, or the leg I suppose it'd be, that holds up the table, was folded under one of the pieces. So he was just hitting him with a piece of metal that was being cushioned by a piece of wood. That probably didn't feel great. I'm not going to lie, that probably didn't feel great for Braun or Roman, and he was laying in those shots. I mean, you're going to make it look convincing, but my God, used a piece of wood that doesn't have metal behind it, please, Brock. Excuse me. Yeah, it was an okay ending, except for the fact that there was a referee in the ring. Mick Foley was taken out by Paul Heyman and his little spray. Fine. There was a referee in the ring who then called for the bell and declared a Hell in a Cell match a draw by stoppage. It is hell in a cell. It is not moderate levels of discomfort in a cell. It is not, oh well, if it gets a bit rough, we'll call the match off in a cell. It is hell in a cell. It is Undertaker Shawn Michaels where Kane debuted and ripped the door off, which, by the way, the way Brock got in was very carny but very cool. It is Mick Foley falling off and through the cell in the same match and then still continuing for like another 10 minutes. Another 10 minutes he wrestled, or so. I don't know, I didn't time it. But it must have been at least 10 minutes that he wrestled. Well, I say wrestled. Got ragdolled by Undertaker. After those two big bumps, after he got back in the ring, they had a wrestling match. It's ridiculous that people... Right, I always poo-poo people slating the PG era. Because I'm like, you don't need blood and swearing and women in skimpy outfits, skimpier than they are. Charlotte, looking at you. She had the girls all hanging out today. But what was I in the middle of saying before I got distracted by Charlotte's boobs? Oh yeah, I mean she's just had the work done. She wants to show off what she spent the money on, I guess. But whatever. Yeah, the point is you don't need the blood, the guts, the swearing, the TNA to make a good product. But what you do need is some level of like investment. And now all this has done is made Hell in a Cell seem weaker. So when it comes around next year and they're like, oh, it's Hell in a Cell, what are they going to say? Oh, a guy came in and hit some guys with a piece of wood and that was too much for Hell in a Cell, so we called it a stoppage. What are they going to, you know, like, of all the things that people have put each other through, not in Hell in a Cell matches, and the match has gone on, that makes Hell in a Cell look really, really weak. I can't think of a better word. It just looks weak. So, I didn't like the end. I didn't like the finish. I didn't predict the finish. Did anyone predict a draw? Really? You're going to have to provide evidence for me to believe you that you predicted a draw in a Hell in a Cell match. And if you predicted Brock Lesnar showing up, I'm going to need to see evidence of that as well. I'm going to need to see written evidence, dated, written evidence, or recorded vocal audio evidence that's dated and could not possibly have been produced after Hell in a Cell went off the air to believe you, because there's no way anyone called either of those things. I popped a little bit for Brock's music hitting. I was like, okay, that's kind of cool. The only problem was I was too busy being annoyed at the Drew and at the Dolph and Seth spot being unnecessary, because people were saying, all I saw online in the build-up to this was, I hope Jeff Hardy doesn't kill himself. I hope he doesn't do anything unnecessarily dangerous. Right, if Jeff Hardy had done a spot that would have affected his match, it would have been dangerous. and to an extent unnecessarily dangerous. But this spot was a little bit less dangerous. They were only halfway up the cage, granted. But it was 100% unnecessarily dangerous. And I just think, who green flagged that? Who was like, that's a great idea. Let's have people not involved in the match fall off the cell through tables. Let's do that. That's superb idea. That's amazing. Both of which are champions at the moment, by the way. One of which, if he landed a little bit funny and kicked the table wrong on his way down, could have re-aggravated an existing injury and been out for months again. Like, not existing, but an existing in history. I can't think of the word I want. But, you know, he's had an injury, Seth Rollins, like, a fairly significant one, let's be honest. Let's not unnecessarily risk aggravating that. But I don't want that to put a dampener on the whole show. I feel like, for the most part, the big spots in the Hell in a Cell matches are what ruin the night a little bit. And the rest of the night, if you take out those couple of stunts, were awesome. And by the way, I liked the ending of Hardy Randy. I just thought it was a bit risky. Like, especially considering Hardy's history with injuries and the fact that he's like 40 now. He's not going to bounce back from that the same as he would 20 years ago. So, I don't know. But overall, I did thoroughly enjoy the show. My first reaction is to say, I enjoyed that show. It was a good show. Let me know in the comment section what you thought. And what score you got on the predictions if you want to. And you're willing to back it up if I doubt you. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new here. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Share with your friends if you think they would enjoy. But for now, all I have left to say is thank you very much for watching. As always, I've been Ibeza. You've been amazing. And I'll see you next time.